as we could no longer afford the conventional forces or the conventional equipment which perform and defend us so magnificently the world over. Yeah. And even that's only a part of it, because I've been through their manifesto, this thing. In politics, know your enemies. They don't want you to read it. That's why we've had all of these leaks and scares. Ridiculous. Because they didn't want you to read what was in their manifesto, because they knew if you knew you'd totally and utterly reject it. And so will the majority of our people. Well, I've been through it. And I've counted at least 47 new ways of controlling and confining Britain within a socialist state, controlling us. Just listen to some of the things they're planning to do. There's a section in here which would enable them to take over any company in Britain at any time, either permanently or temporarily, if they so choose. There's a section which says, and if the banks don't cooperate, any bank which refused to do what they wanted with your money, they'd be nationalized too. There's a section, oh yes, there's a section which goes on to say it's going to close down private employment agencies, although they find and provide the jobs. And also there's another section. There's a section which talks about stopping your right to buy your council house. And I'll tell you something else. They don't even stop at your front door. Listen to this. Men and women should be able to share the rights and responsibilities of paid employment and domestic activities. So the job segregation within and outside the home is broken down. They're going to see if Dennis does his share of the washing up. More seriously, it's a grim catalogue. It's a list of proposals aimed at destroying the spirit of enterprise and the chance to display and develop your talent, your ability, your excellence, whatever it may be, and wherever you choose to develop it. They think it's attractive to offer to the young a future wholly controlled by the operation of the socialist state. What is their message? To each his own pigeonhole, from each total conformity. We utterly reject it. Yeah. That sort of society is not fit for Britons, and we here today are determined it shall never come about.